Okay, remember, they're changing my voice. This video is about my official stance on the cloud that Christ comes back at the end of the Bible. Again, Christ in the story is a character in the story. People picture different things when they think about him. So you need to emphasize that's a character in the story. What is the real idea? And not let people have 20,000 denominations having all kinds of stupid arguments. Okay? Because they should value the truth, the way, the truth, and the life. Not 380,000 churches with nuanced interpretations and to over 20,000 denominations. Job 30. At this my heart pounds and leaps from its place. Listen, listen to the roar of his voice, to the rumbling that comes from his mouth. He unleashes his lightning beneath the whole heaven and sends it to the ends of the earth. After that comes the sound of his roar. He thunders with his majestic voice. When his voice resounds, he holds nothing back. God's voice thunders in marvelous ways. He does great things beyond our understanding. Again, is this somebody who, are they describing God as a Buddhist monk? No. As a pacifist? No. As a scientist? No. This is somebody who fills up with a warrior spirit, who roars, his actions roar, not a mere craftsman, not a Freemason who has some kind of snake actions, but they roar with righteousness. Okay? Not sound like, less than a rock, as some secret society person, but roars and with righteousness. And he holds nothing back. He doesn't fight like a kung fu person, karate person, FMA, capoeira, you name it. He holds nothing back in the true spirit of God, in the most mighty system, in the Royal African Falcon martial art order. Thousands of years later, they have no viable counter-argument to the idea that Horus martial arts are superimposed on, because again, there's all kinds of descriptions for what they are. What the truth of it is this particular kind of Igbo Royal African Falcon martial arts that's very difficult to describe and label because of all the confusion and the associations with the words that are being used, right? What does it mean to be royal? What does it mean to be mighty? What does it mean to be a martial artist? What does it mean to be a falcon martial artist? Every single word that would effectively describe the order that I'm in, that it makes me the top martial artist ever possible in reality, and so on and so forth, because of my martial art application, but first and foremost being right with God, is difficult to describe. Every word is confusing because of the people who try to cheat people like me, organizing the systems of the world to confuse who I am. Satan leading the world astray, where it says God is not the author of confusion in the Bible, therefore Satan is the author of confusion. And those who play stupid, those who suppress my view, those who refuse to gather with me, are scattering. Whoever doesn't gather with me scatters. And one who slackens his work is brother to one who destroys, and they're part of the destroying mountain Babylon, the system, figuratively speaking, and after they're done destroying, they will be destroyed. Okay, verse 7. So that everyone, he says to the snow fall on the earth and to the rain shower, be a mighty downpour. Not some kind of fairy downpour, a mighty downpour. So that everyone so that everyone may know his work. He stops all people from their labor. The animals take cover, they remain in their dens. The tempest comes out from its chamber, the cold from the driving winds, the breath of God produces ice, and the broad waters become frozen. He loads the clouds with moisture, he scatters his lightning through them. Okay, notice the ice is being used to destroy, but it's not the same as the sun, right? The sun is the symbol of the bridegroom, not the snowman or the ice or the glacier, or a seal or a polar bear, the falcon. The sun, the lion, the leopard. The leopard's the lion on the standard because the leopard is a more effective martial art animal of the lions. So for example, a mountain lion, right? The leopard, mountain lion, lion. The leopard is the bill that rings the loudest, basically. The jaguar does something too, mountain lion doesn't, but the leopard is more effective. It's a long story why it is. It has to do with the pressure cooker of Africa, the types of animals, the types of threats they overcome. It's a long story. At his direction, they swirl around over the face of the whole earth to do whatever he commands them. He brings the clouds to punish people or to water his earth and to show his love. Listen to this, Job. Stop and consider God's wonders. Do you know how God controls the clouds and makes his lightning flash? Do you know how the clouds hang poised, those wonders of him who has perfect knowledge? So he says, do you know how he makes the lightning flash? Only the top martial artist ever possible truly understands it as much as a human can understand it. He truly lives it. He's gone up to heaven and come back down, and that's me, right? Gathered into a cloud and came back down. Unlike Satan, who's cast down in a lightning bolt, okay, I hold the lightning in my hands, and I cast down the devils and all in their spirit, and they resorted to the despicable tactics that I would never dream of using because they're so childish, so pathetic, so inferior, so pitiful. Only a ditzy kind of airhead and unruly fucking little girl who's scared would use them, of fuming and poisoning me instead of debating me, because they're so ashamed of their cultures and philosophies that they've convinced their families to be in, that they won't even debate me about it publicly. That is sick. That is sick that they've chosen to be that. That is sick that they've chosen to take that route. Their shame is what they should feel. You who swelter in your clothes when the land lies hushed under the south wind, can you join him in spreading out the skies, hard as a mirror of cast bronze? Tell us what we should say to him. We cannot drop our case because of our darkness. Should he be told that I want to speak, would anyone ask to be swallowed up? No one can look at the sun, bright as it is in the skies after the wind has swept them clean. Out of the north he comes in golden splendor. God comes in awesome majesty. Again, the sun is being compared to God, and in Psalm 19 is compared to the bridegroom, the champion. And in a sense, because the bridegroom is one with God, and not God, but one with God, John 17, and wants everyone to be one with him so they can be one with God too. They can be in me and I in God, so therefore they're in God. Okay? That's the reason why the sun's being compared to God. Okay. The Almighty is beyond our reach and exalted in power. In his justice and great righteousness he does not oppress. Therefore people revere him, for he does not have regard for all the wise in heart. Now some of you might ask the stupid question, though I can understand there's a lot of confusion going on here because of people who are racist and sexual sadists and control freaks because their sexual inclinations and so on and so forth. And whatever else problem they have, weird kind of brain wiring and so on and so forth. You might say, well, what does this have to do with your official stance on the cloud? Point number one is it's not as simple as the cloud stands for this and leave it at that. You can't describe what the cloud stands for in one sentence. You can't effectively discuss it in one video. There's a lot of things that are being compared to the cloud. It's a cloud of smoke. It's a cloud of dust. The bottom part, right, the dark clouds under God's feet, right, the bottom part of the cloud that's being discarded is rain into hell. Okay, Satan is cast down in a lightning bolt, but the lightning bolt also stands for God's martial strength. Okay, so Satan isn't necessarily symbolic of the lightning, but the lightning is associated with Satan because he's cast down in lightning. However, it is the lightning of God's martial might. Okay, so the cloud is explained in a way that's confusing and is scattered out throughout the Bible, which is a pretty thick collection of books. Okay, it's in Job, it's in Jeremiah, it's touched on in Isaiah, okay, and things that have to do with the cloud. Okay, it's in what was this thing? It's in Exodus. Okay, it's in Ezekiel, it's in Revelation, it's in Mark, and we'll get to that in a future video. We're kind of running out of time. We're only a minute 30, but it's in Mark 9. When we get to verse, excuse me, it's in Mark 14. We get to verse 61 where it says, but Jesus remained silent and gave no answer. Again, the high priest asked you, are you the Messiah, the Son of the Blessed One? Verse 62, I am, said Jesus, and you will see the Son of Man sitting at the right hand of the Mighty One and coming on the clouds of heaven. Okay, you see how it's time and time again. So what are the clouds, right? Well, there's a lot of components. It's part of the storm. There's the whirlwind. There's the hailstones. There's the lightning. Okay? So there is no short answer that is sufficient. In a nutshell, the cloud is the warrior spirit of God, and part of it is being cast down because they're not in the warrior spirit of God, because it's things that connect to the cloud, right? It's the impurities being flushed down into hell, and that is Babylon fighting against each other. So the cloud is under God's feet, but Christ says he's in the cloud. So listen carefully. The cloud in Psalm 18 says there is being referred to as a dark cloud under God's feet. But in Job, it's not being used that way. And in Mark, it's not being used that way either. You say Christ is on it in the clouds. So how is it, Gog and Magog, but Christ is in it? You see, it's complicated. It's because the cloud's referring to a bunch of things at the same time, and there's a bunch of components to it.